Granny's, Abner. I believe that's our ring.
Hi, Doggy's Lum. I believe you're right.
I'll see. Hello, jot 'em down, store. This is Lum and Abner.
Now, let's see what's going on down in Pine Ridge. Well, Grandpappy Spears' new identity as Davenport the salesman is giving his old friends a bit of trouble. His amnesia has caused him to become the complete opposite of his former self, and so no one seems to know quite how to treat him. As we look in on the little community today, we find Lum and Abner in their jotting down store and library, trying to comprehend their new point system ration chart. Listen.
Doggies, I give up, Lum. I can't make heads or tails out of these here charts for this point system or whatever you call it.
What?
These charts here for this point system, what is all that about?
Ain't nothing so complicated about that, Abner.
Huh?
I'll explain it to you. For instance, if somebody wants to buy, say, a 12-ounce can of tomatoes, you just find out here where it says tomatoes.
Yeah, well, what if they don't want to buy tomatoes, though?
Well, I'm supposing they do want tomatoes.
Well, what if they want to buy corn? Everybody don't just come in here and order tomatoes. I can learn it about one thing, Lum, but we got all kinds of canned goods up here.
All right, take a can of corn, for instance.
Right now?
Yeah.
I'll go get one.
No, wait a minute. I'm explaining this chart to you. Take any can of anything. Say a can of hominy. Here's hominy right here. You run your finger over here to where it says 10 to 14 ounces. And then you...
where does it say ounces on there?
Right there. O-Z, ounce.
Is that how you spell ounce?
Why, sure.
Hey, Doggy, I thought that was Oz. I was wondering what all them Oz's is doing in there. Yeah, I'll hear to the Wizard Oz. Is he the one that made up this chart?
No, of course not.
Huh?
I'll admit, though, some of it looks like it might have been studied up to him.
Well, I might not sure it was him, Lum. He's more likely in Washington there working for the giver man.
No, he
Might
isn't.
not everybody else is. I've heard it, Lum.
The Wizard of Oz is a fictitious character.
He is?
Of course he is.
Well, I hope they catch him then.
Catch him?
Yes, sir. Ain't safe having them fictitious fellers sneaking around Washington these days, Lum.
Well, I reckon they know about the Wizard of Oz.
Huh?
They ain't got nothing to worry about there, I don't think.
Ain't,
But
huh?
getting back to the chart here, you just look in the column that says 10 to 14 ounces, and there you see that it takes 10 points for that size can of tomatoes.
Well, does that mean now 10 cents?
No, that ain't the price.
Well, I was going to say we'd lose money selling for that long.
That means the number of points it takes to get them.
Points, huh?
Yeah.
You mean some sort of a game?
No,
What game is it? Purchasing?
of course not.
Post office?
No,
Well, I'll give it. What game is it?
it ain't no game at all.
Huh?
The customers bring in their stamp books, and, well, I ain't going to go all through that again.
Now, Lum, I ought to
Just
know
have
how
figure
to...
it out for yourself.
Yeah, for goodness sake. Doggies, maybe I'm just in favor of closing up the store and moving over to Big Fork after all, rather than to go through this.
Well, they got this same point system over there.
They have over at Big Fork,
Why,
too?
sure, this is going on all over the country.
For the land's sake. That Oz is a wizard, I'll say that for him, the way he gets around.
For the land's sake. Speaking of moving, I was talking to Grandpap this morning. You know what he wants to do now?
Huh?
He wants to move back to Toledo.
Back to Toledo?
Yes, sir. Says he wants to try to find the house he used to live in and look up his relates there and see if he can't find out something about himself.
Well, if he won't find out none of them back there long, he ain't never been there once in his whole life.
Of course not, but you can't tell him that.
No.
Ever since he found out that card from that weighing machine in his pocket, the one that said Toledo Steels Company on it, ever since then he's bound and determined Toledo's his hometown.
Yeah, I know that, yeah.
I tried to tell him all his relays was right here in town. His wife, Charity, and his nephew, Luke, but he won't believe that. Just looks at you like you was touched in the head.
Oh, yeah, that amnesia's got him good, yeah.
Yeah, we just got to figure out some way to keep him from running off to Ohio. That's all there are to it.
Yeah.
He's the only one that knows that formula for making synthetic rubber.
Why, sure, we want to keep him here if we can. Fact is, we got to do it somewhere or other.
If we ever get his memory back, we can start up a factory again.
Why, sure, yeah. And if he get back to Toledo, we might lose all track of him. You can't tell about him.
You ain't got no business going back there, no way. Get lost there, just show us the world.
Yeah, well, in the first place, I don't know what he wants to leave for. All the money he's making now selling that second-hand stuff, you'd think he'd want to stay here.
Well, I think he's just lonesome. I think that's the whole thing.
Well, yeah, but this is the first time in his whole life he's ever made any money, Lum. He's doing good now.
Well, it just goes to show you that it takes more than money to bring a feller happiness.
Does, huh?
Man works and struggles to get a lot of money, and then after he gets it, he discovers it ain't worth so much after all. Just like that old lettered saying of mine, he who steals my purse steals trash.
Well, I reckon that... Huh? Well, Lord me, Lum, I don't know.
You don't know what?
Who taken your purse? When did you first notice it was missing?
Well, I never actually meant it.
You don't reckon it was Grandpap, do you?
Of course not. He wouldn't do no such a thing as that.
Well, no, I know he wouldn't ordinary, Lum, but tell you now, since he's got to be Buster V. Davenport, he did some awful cuter things around here. Doggy, that might be the very reason that he's trying to get out of town so quick, too, you know?
Oh, it ain't nothing like that.
Huh?
That thing I said about who steals my purse is just Shakespeare.
Shakespeare? Doggy, you can tell by his name he's a crook. Is he a short feller or a tall one? Did you get a good look at him?
Abner, Shakespeare never taken my purse nor nobody else's. He was an author, and he just studied that up about that purse deal.
Now, he's just the head of the gang, I'll bet that's it. Studies up for robberies and then has the other fellers do the robbing for him.
No.
Reckon how many crooks he's got a working for him?
Abner, in the first place, Shakespeare is dead. And in the second place...
He is? Well, I'm sorry to hear that. But, sir, that just goes to prove right there what I've always said. Crime don't never pay. He ought to know better. Ought to.
Abner, he weren't no crook.
Well, of course, I know how you feel on him. I hate to say that, too, about a feller that's passed on to his reward, but that ain't getting your purse back.
Well, don't worry. I've got my purse.
You have? Did they get scared and bring it back to you?
No, they never brung it back.
Well, how'd you get it, then?
I never lost it in the first place.
Now, Lum, you oughtn't to say that. You're telling a story, and you know it. You're just trying to shield that batch of crooks. That's what you're doing. Just feeling sorrowful for them because they lost their leader. You oughtn't to do that,
I ain't feeling sorrowful for nobody. I just said that who steals my purse steals trash. That means...
I don't care what condition your purse was in, Lum. Trash or no trash, you ought to get it back. It belongs to you, and you ought to have it.
For goodness sakes.
Yes, sir, and doggies, if I find the feller's got it, I'm going to get it for you, too. I'll tell you that right now.
All right, that's
I
fine.
don't like stealing. No,
It's nice of you to help me there.
well, not at all. I'm just proud to do it.
You see it, you get it.
Yes, sir, I will. I'll fist fight him for it. That's what
Now,
I'll
let's
do.
get back to Grandpap before it's too late to keep him from going to Toledo.
Huh?
The first thing we ought to do is to try to make him feel at home here in Pine Ridge.
Feel at home?
Yeah, make him realize all his friends are right here.
Oh.
Got to take him round and introduce him to folks.
Introduce Grandpap?
Why, sure.
Well, for the land's sakes, how can you introduce a feller that everybody already knows, Lum?
Well, they don't actually know him, though.
Huh?
Or he don't know them. They don't know him as Buster V. Davenport. They know him as Grandpappy Spears. And they ain't no such person. Leastways, not till he gets his memory back, they ain't.
Oh, well, I don't know, Lum. I believe they know him as B.V. Davenport, too. Ray, he's been getting around town selling them vacuum cleaners and all. He's called on right now every house in town.
Well, yeah, but them's just business connections. He ain't met the folks social.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he needs, some social life.
Yes, I'm social, like.
Why, sure. Take them drummers that come to town. You know 'em. Dick Huddleston knows them. Mose Moose knows them, but they wouldn't want to settle down here.
Well, no, I don't reckon it
Wouldn't seem like home to them because none of their neighbors lives here.
No.
And Grandpap's worse off than they are, even, because he don't know no neighbors nowhere in the whole world.
No. Fact is, he don't even know for sure who he is himself.
That's right. So we got to get him introduced around town here.
Yeah, well, you might be right. Of course, it's going to seem sort of curious, though, Lum. Taking him up to somebody, well, like Ezra Seastrong, saying, Ezra, I'd like to have you shake hands with Mr. Davenport, formerly known as Grandpappy Spears.
Well, don't put that last part on there. To embarrass him and everybody else. Act like he was a complete, total stranger.
Well, I reckon we can. Of course, everybody's going to know different, old Long.
And we ought to have him over to our houses for supper, too.
Every night?
No, just once in a while.
Oh.
Maybe invite some neighbors in, too. And sit around and talk social.
Talk social, huh?
Besides making him feel at home, that might bring his memory back, too.
Talking social?
Well, they say familiar faces and familiar scenes sometimes helps a feller get shut of his amnesia.
Well, if it'll do that, why, I'd be proud to have him over the place for supper. And I reckon Elizabeth would, too, if he'll just recollect to wipe his feet before he comes in the parlor, not tracking a batch of mud. He hates that.
He might recollect that. He's a changed man every other which way now.
Well, he might.
Get him to look at pictures through your stereoscope. And let him put that seashell up to his ear and listen to the sea roar.
Oh, yeah, he always loved that thing. Sit there by the hour and listen to it. And he swears up and down he can hear the Pacific Ocean roaring in there.
Pacific?
Yeah, claims he can recognize the Pacific Ocean whenever he hears it.
Yeah, that is pretty far-fetched.
Why, of course it is. It's the Atlantic Ocean you can hear in there. Anybody can tell that.
Well, whichever ocean it is, get him to listen to it anyway.
Oh, yeah.
We ought to get Walt Bates to have him over some night, too.
Walt, huh?
And Ezra C. Crunk and Caleb Weehunt and Ulysses S. Quincy.
Just have all his old friends, huh?
Yes, Daddy. One of them might just happen to say something or might look familiar to him and bing, his memory come back to him.
Well, I dog it, that'd be a fine thing, Lum. And his poor woman, Charity, she's worn herself to death about it.
We got to get him mixing with as many folks as we can.
Yeah.
And we got to do it as quick as possible, too.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Wait a minuet.
What's the matter?
I think I just give myself an idea.
Idea?
I know how we can get him to meet everybody all at one time.
Huh?
Get him to have the time of his life while we're doing it, too.
What are we going to do, Lum?
We're going to get up a big party for him.
A party?
Yes, sir, the biggest one that this town has ever saw, too. Hi, Granny, you know what this'll be?
Huh?
It'll be Grandpap's coming out party.